Well, hello there, everybody. How are y'all doing? We're doing fine. In fact, I got to tell you, we were actually just having a show, and then I said, I think there's some people like waiting on us. So, anyway, we're here. But hey, it was a holiday. It's summertime. It's hotter than, well, it's supposed to be. Summertime's supposed to be hot, right? So, we're thankful that all of you are here with us. We just want to speak favor over you all. Let there be nothing missing, nothing broken. So much going on. Just sending out Gilbert, saw that, he's put his mom on hospice. And,
Mm.
it's a journey all of us will make.
Yeah,
And, so we just surround your mom, Gilbert, with just comfort, comfort. We come against any fear of the mind, any fear of the soul, and we just speak that there will be peace and acceptance and relaxation of letting go when that moment comes. So, all right.
abs
That's what nothing missing, nothing broken means. So anyway, welcome
absolutely.
everybody. Hello, ladies. How are
Yeah.
y'all?
Doing great.
Surviving.
That's all I can say. It's a journey all of us make. And um, anyway, so hello everybody in the chat room. Been a long time since we've seen everybody.
Yeah.
Boy, look at everybody out there. Man, Elderberry, Paul, Joe, Deborah, Nina, how are you doing, darling? Michelle, they're, I mean, Scotty Boy and Lost in
Yeah,
Space, freaking
yeah.
full house, you
We're
know?
getting there quick. Yeah.
And
Filing
Hello,
in.
everyone.
we haven't
Yeah.
even started. There's Rick. How are you doing, brother? Good to see you. Kill your
Yeah.
egregores. Happy Taco Tuesday. Yeah, I love Mexican food. Eye of the Maelstrom. And we just send out, listen, the thing that happened in Texas is it's not unprecedented. These events, if you've lived in Texas, you know that they happen. I think that the scale and the intensity is what was so unexpected. But
Shocking. Yeah.
we just send love down there. I saw a video in China that they're literally cooking temperatures that are just unheard of. So Earth is changing, and shout out to Ben Davidson. So we have the North Atlantic Oscillation Meridian current, that runs through, and that's where the Gulf Stream used to be. Well, they got one down in the southern hemisphere, and it goes around, and it's a very vital. I think it's called the Southern Oscillating Meridian Current. I think it's something like that.
Hmm.
It's reversed.
Yep.
Never
Yeah.
happened. No, in recorded history, it's reversed. This is if you remember the movie Day After Tomorrow, with Dennis Quaid was in that, I believe. This is how it starts. So, ain't
Hmm.
that
Ooh.
special?
Ain't
That's
that
That's
special?
all I can say. Isn't that special?
lovely.
So, Earth, it's a cycle, We all
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
it, you know.
She needs to
Absolutely.
shake off anyway. We do need to shake off an old consciousness. That's been here far too long. So let's
Way
hope
too
she
long.
just to
Way too
shake that,
long.
shake it
Um,
off. Yeah.
and then they came out. I thought this was interesting. So you know how YouTube, if you talk about climate change, they always put the
Oh,
blue box, with the United
there
Nations.
you.
Well, YouTube, what are you going to do now? Because now it's been found out that climate change thing from the UN has all been a con. A
Apologies in
con.
writing, please.
A con. So, YouTube, are you going to go and apologize for the blue box because it's a con? That what we're
Just right.
finding out now that the data was purposely corrupted, and now, could you imagine this? It has to do with money.
Hmm.
I
Was it
I'm
a
just
church
shocked.
roof? Those church.
Can you imagine that?
So unexpected. Oh,
I
I know,
mean,
Trina. I
imagine, I
mean, come
mean,
on.
people manipulating the data. Oh, listen, and here's YouTube. You can't, you see, YouTube, I'm older than you. And here's the great thing. See, I remember 1970. In fact, I believe it was 1979, I believe, 78. Time magazine had the thing of the future climate change frozen planet.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the church, isn't it? There's always a 10-year
I guess there
revival
wasn't
coming.
enough money behind that one, Al Gore. All right, so how are you, Trina? How are you, Jenny? Good to see you both.
I'm wonderful. How are you doing, Jenny? I haven't heard from you in a while.
How's
You
the
know,
hand? How's the
healing, no,
arm?
it's healing. It's actually healing. I am for all of the upside down nature of my body that I do heal very fast. So it is healing. I'll be starting to put my creams on it tomorrow. The flesh is covered quicker than expected, but obviously the layers of skin need to come back. It looks pretty nasty. I'll send you some pictures. It looks pretty nasty, but yeah, it's okay. Um, but I've been inundated with people feeling the strain of what's happening. And
Yeah.
my life has gotten ridiculously full, having to fill that the void of caring for things while others can't. And so I know a lot of other people will be experiencing that as the spiritual warrior, as the column of your family or friends. That there's a lot of strain there in taking on new responsibilities that you hadn't planned for. So yeah, I'm like an animal sanctuary right now. And I said no to a dog for the boys, so many times, but I laughed with the pumpkin the other week because I was meditating in front of a pumpkin that I've got growing. It's about to flower, and I ended up laughing because I thought you tried your best, but you're every bit the stereotypical witch. These animals just keep coming to you. It's like it's a life path thing, and so it's but yeah, I'm building fences that I wasn't expecting to build, to keep certain animals in. And so yeah, it's full on, really full on. But I think a lot of people will be feeling that, taking on the responsibilities just while other people can't, for their own good reasons. So yeah,
Right.
I've been busy. I don't actually remember going to bed this last week. I have, but
Mhm.
I've been out like a light before and then up in the crack of dawn. So yeah, okay. But it's
And by the
crazy.
way, dawn is now like 7 minutes later, Bentley and I
Mm-hmm.
go
That
out 5:30
time.
every morning, and 3 weeks ago the sun was up. Now it's not. So anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
love
Soon
the
you'll get an
animals. That's
apology for that.
yeah. It's yeah, it's we'll talk about more about the animals. Miss
Mm.
Trina, um, so I understand you put your carpenter skills to test.
Yes, I
Okay.
did. I built new shelves for the books.
Ta-da! And they look fabulous.
Yeah,
You
my
know?
other
Great.
ones I outgrew and literally they were ready to collapse on themselves because they were just so overloaded. I was like, okay, time for metal, still upgrading and support systems and bigger. Yeah, so
Important.
that's how we did it. Yeah, the wood and metal and it's working good. I was like,
Oh,
thank you.
good.
It
Yeah.
Good.
looks good. I love your clock. My granny had the exact same clock, the alarm clock.
You
I
know
love
what
the
I've
way.
been I- I've been hearing is watch the time on the clocks and see if it matches our current time. And, potentially if we're without power for a few days, that's going to be something that's really important for people. They're not going to
Real
know what
clocks
time it
like
is.
that.
So,
Yeah, but real
yeah,
clocks like that are so important because they tell
yeah,
you much about because you can compare. But I love it,
yeah.
Trina.
And this
Brought
actually
back
came
memories.
from my mom. So this has been in our family
Hey.
for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time. So yeah, I'm hearing and feeling that too. Wayne, with your beautiful animal story that you should share. these animals are coming, and it feels like we're preparing, like you said, to take on people for safety, refuge, being the light in the chaos that's potentially on its way. I think we're in some very interesting times right now, but I keep hearing like the grids that we're setting up on our properties, the energy fields, the consciousness. This is the greatest gift you can give to the planet right now. It doesn't even seem like it's significant because you're just doing and being what you
Yeah.
are, but it's critical right now. So thank you guys for being part of that.
Yeah, there is something afoot, and
Mhm.
we were talking prior. Um, Last week was just it's magical because
Mhm.
as I was telling Lynn, we have our Valhalla, we have our paradise, and it's ours. And
Mhm.
within our paradise, it's life, and it's life of every nature and variation. I love the animals, and they apparently love me. So we had a very healthy doe, female anyway. She gave birth to triplets, and the odds of a deer giving birth to triplets, it's very rare. I mean, conditions have to be blah 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 blah. I mean, not that I'm any expert, but I did read up what I could, and so they're beautiful. They're out there. I see them every day. They know who I am. The mother and myself, as we were talking earlier, um, they connect to us telepathically, and it's quite interesting. And the mother trusts me. She trusts me with her fawns. And then last Wednesday, we look out our bedroom window from the deck, and there on the bottom deck is a female turkey with three baby turkey chicks. And I've never seen turkey in the wild. You don't, because they're very cautious of humans, and they don't trust humans. But here we look down, and here was mother, and she had her three chicks, and for a couple of days she was just right here. We were making sure she was fed. So we've had three baby fawns, we've had three baby chicks, and so, the spirit guides are telling us that we're in for a very fortunate go. Yeah, it's very positive. So anyway, that's what was
Mhm.
happening.
3 and 3, 33, and three more might be on the
Three,
way.
three,
Three
three.
sets of
Yeah,
nine. Yeah,
yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. And
It's
turkeys are
amazing.
good, a very good fortune. They're a very good omen. If you have them on your property, if you're fortunate to be where they are, it's really saying something. And it's interesting because I was out last night, and I'm standing there, and I have Bentley, and Bentley gets an attention, and all of a sudden we're in the middle of like six deer running by us.
Aw.
And
Mm.
there's a reason why they call them whitetail, because when they're running, that's what you see is that whitetail. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
So sweet.
Hmm.
So sweet.
what can I say? So that's what it's been like for me. Yesterday, I wasn't on the air, folks. Hello, Lauren. Much love to you. Yeah, it's like Lauren says, wow, they rarely let you see the chicks. Yeah. She said she had a flock of turkeys that, yeah, see, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They're great guard
So,
dogs too. They keep an eye on the property and let you know if anybody's around. They make a lot of noise.
and we have a returning visitor. We have an owl.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
I swear it's Lilith. You know, Lilith is
Could
known as
be.
but yeah.
Could be.
So
That could.
yesterday I was out doing physical labor all day long, so having, loving it actually. So
Good.
Hmm.
those are my adventures. What's y'all's?
That's built a fence.
You built a fence. I love that.
Yeah, I've nearly finished that. I've just got to cement post cement the posts, but they're all in now. Um, what else have I done? I've plastered a wall. I've filled in a wall in the ceiling. And then I've done two readings in between that, and gotten a new puppy, Dolly, and Pup Pup. So it's been full on, but he's
Wow.
adorable. So
The
he was named
animals.
Johnny Cash. Yeah, he was named Johnny Cash before I got him. Because my mum wanted Dolly Parton and Johnny Cash, the country singers. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's little Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton. Uh, is having none of it. She's an old
I've
girl
met
now.
Dolly Parton. Actually,
Have you?
we shot a commercial for her for Dollywood. Yep,
Oh
back in the
wow,
day.
she's a good
Yep.
lady.
Yeah, she is a very delightful soul and just genuine and just damn funny is what she is,
Her book supply, particularly to young women, is still going now, strong.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The donations of the books that she donates.
And then she's
Hers,
into children's books too, I believe, as well. I think she's written some,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So she keeps
talented
putting
woman.
proceeds
Yeah.
back
Met
in. So
Crystal Gale as well.
don't,
And she really did have that long hair. I mean,
Mhm.
let's see. I lived in Nashville for a while, and she had a shop called Crystals, and it was, this was the fine stuff. And I was in there one day, and lo and behold, here she come walking in from the back. And anyway,
oh,
That's
really?
cool.
I know
That's
Brooks and
really
Dunn
good.
too, worked on their video. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I
Always
like
in the
those
tech and the
guys.
music, Wayne.
Uh,
Always in the tech and the music.
yeah, it seems to be that way. It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, running kicks were that was just a fun time. I mean, it was, but anyway.
It is a fun time. So what are you guys thinking that's coming in the near future? What are you feeling?
I
I
think
think
something go ahead. I'll let because
I
chivalry is
think
still
I
alive
think
here.
you're opening the doorway. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
So much, gent. But I think
After you.
in the after you,
No,
the
after you.
okay, interested now. I think it's we're seeing the result of a not so old spell that has been very, very strong. We're seeing very ancient names being revived, in cult-like form, and we're seeing a birth of it sprouting up like dandelions all around the world. And it's taking hold and it's stirring the heavens, so to speak, the etherical realms, and it's stirring the stuff below our feet too. I think we're going to see quite a lot of chaos from the human space coming up, and quite a lot of, in this country too, as well as yours, quite a lot of law and order, not enacting law and order. Um, the real law and order actually getting punished, for the jobs that they used to do. So we're seeing an absolute reversal. And I got thinking about that the other day, and I was thinking of some of the old videos I'd done. And this English language, I'm determined to learn different languages well, not just pidgin, because we've spoken about it before, how the English language stops here at the throat. It doesn't encourage deep breathing. It doesn't bring out the same frequencies as the more ancient languages. English is quite new. And it made me think of the Tower of Babel and how the Babel was the babbling of English, because all of the words, when you look at English, are inverted. So nasty words, actually, like see you next Tuesday, mean goddess, wonder, whereas queen means more of a prostitute level, not worth anything. So they've reversed everything, and we've been speaking these words out with glee and with power and intent. So it got me to thinking about last week. I've been speaking in tongues a lot while I've been working. I usually do, but sometimes it's like a river. I can't stop it. It just comes. And it got me to wondering, why do I do that? Why have I always found power in that since I was a kid? And it's because I reach those frequencies in my throat. I reach the
I just
frequency,
heard.
the
So I just
tone,
heard
so I can
you're
reach the
putting
space.
you're bringing the ancient fire code, the ancient
That's it.
sounds back into the
Not using
matrix.
this
Like,
inverted
yeah,
language.
yeah, like Wayne dropped favor back into the matrix. It's powerful. And he
Hmm.
speaks in tongues also. This is fire code, fire language from our origins. And yeah, I think it's time because it's how the earth remembers her song. A lot of it's coming
Yes.
through these
And she's
different
fighting
things.
this spell. She's fighting it, isn't she, Trina? This spell
I think it's more than a
over.
spell. I think it's ancient technology.
Yeah.
And I really do think that we had organic technology because this
Absolutely.
is apparently a simulation, but the organic earth is not. So there is an outside the simulation. But to collapse all these simulations, I think it's what we're seeing right now. It feels
Yes.
like that's why we have Mandela effects and time is getting wonky and everything's getting weird. It feels like, because I've known for a long time, not only is this the end of one cycle, it seems to be the end of three, a trinity. One is
Yes.
yeah, one is our solar system, one is our galaxy, and then the other is universally, omniversally. There's different layers to it. So
Yeah.
this is a huge reset, and I feel that like you're talking about all these things are getting wobbly and breaking down.
Mm.
I'm feeling that in a very big way. But I'm noticing too when I feel those wobbles, I center myself and I anchor and ground and I say, put me on the most highest probable timeline for my soul's path. Do that.
Yes.
And I literally I'm like anchoring a refusal to go where you want me to go. I'm gonna go where I choose to go. So for
So
whatever reason, I think that's a big deal right now. You
it is.
choose. You got to choose. Choose well because you don't
Yeah.
have to listen or choose whatever. It's big right now. Something's
No,
happening.
do you know of a game called Monkey Paw?
Mm-mm.
Where and it's a game where you envisage speaking to a genie because you just described it and it came to me while I was speaking in tongues yesterday. A monkey paw, you have to say to somebody, okay, I'm giving you your wish. If you want to make the world a better place, what wish, anything you like, what wish would you wish right now? And so the aim of the game is in this example, people might want very evil people who have a proclivity towards children, or something just as bad or worse. There isn't much worse, but you would say that, and then they would say, okay, I'll make them invisible. So yes, you won't have to see them. They won't exist to you, but I'll make them invisible. And all of a sudden you realize you've lost the game because you realize that all of a sudden these people you wanted have disappeared and you can't track what they'll do. So it's a difficult thing when you want to go forward out of a restrictive spell or structure that you've been held in, like the Eight of Swords. It really is sometimes as simple but as pertinent as that is the statement you made of I'm speaking to my divine purpose and my divine purpose only. Whatever words come, but very structured words, and try speaking them in a different language, see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. There's something big is happening, and like
Mhm.
with the jet streams reversing, Wayne, I think you're spot on with that. That is a big signal that things are
Yeah,
getting
that's
ready
the
to
ocean
flip.
current.
Yeah, they're getting ready to
The ocean
flip.
current that reversed. Yeah.
It's
I think it's
insanity.
already here. I don't think that and that's what I
Yes.
was thinking of this show today. This
Uh,
has already begun. I mean, it's not
yeah.
coming. It's you're in the game and you can't get out because
That's what
they
I
locked the
saw.
door, you
This
know.
is going to go in waves and pockets. It's going to hit
Yeah.
pockets and waves, and it's a continual process that goes on for
I
a
was taught
while.
to see it as a woman given childbirth. Each
Yes.
But a
birth
huge
pain comes each time, and it becomes much more intense. much
Mm.
more, you know,
And what
because
happens right before the baby comes? The water breaks.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you can say,
Just
oh, hell
saying.
breaks loose, but
Yeah,
but
just saying.
and it's interesting because if I were to play a game like that, and I'm my own wish maker, but I've learned something. We could all wish for world peace, but here's the problem. If the person on an individual basis doesn't have inner peace, world peace isn't going to matter anything.
No.
So my wish would be that I have continual inner peace. See, I can take that and not, you see, the problem when you get into spells and what have you, every spell is a curse. Every curse is a
Mhm.
spell. It just
And
depends on how you're using it into what tense or intent. If you're, for instance, giving a spell of love to put on an individual, well, for that individual to be drawn into you, you may be able to accomplish that, but what you've actually done is just put a curse on that individual because that individual no longer has that free choice. So, yeah, it's weird.
But your inner peace, you could structure it even more and say, but I don't find the need to have that inner peace challenged in order to know it exists.
Well, I'm just a
I would,
simple man. To me is this that
because
if
then
I've
you
got
would,
the song going in my head, which I do most
yeah.
of the time, I'm really in a groovy place. I mean, seriously. I am Phineas Freak, and that's exactly how I feel at times.
I'm
Because the
good.
world's
Yeah.
a trip. I mean, it's a total, the older I get, the more of a trip it becomes. It's like, I mean, I was out the other day and just listening to nature, just digging her vibe, and other human beings were nearby and I could hear what we're saying. And I walked away going, the world's fucking crazy. I mean, because
you
what these
know,
people were saying and doing is like, yeah, that's the problem right there. It's us. It's not nature. It's not the gods.
it's not us, it's the leaders. Because look at you, you got your own little happy place and you're living a beautiful, happy life, existing, in a beautiful way. Most people aren't, but that's due to what's going on with leadership, I think. So, this isn't about us, it's about who's controlling the us.
Yeah,
And they're
those
not
leaders,
making
but
real good decisions for the planet
It goes
or
both
us.
ways, though. It does go both ways, though, because those people, those leaders,
And
have gotten to a place by speaking to the fears of the people that are following them.
yeah,
It's the people underneath them that have built the thrones that they've then sat on. Otherwise, those thrones don't exist. So when I've been looking at some of the spell work these leaders are doing, it feels really unfair. But then I do look at my fellow people around me walking on the ground, so to speak, and I think, but your heart is built to accept that hatred or that fear or that corruption because it's the kind of thing you would wish for your own life to be a leader over somebody else for no good reason.
I think it
The,
goes even deeper than that. And this is
yeah,
just Lynn and I were talking on this. I said, I have this belief. You see, 99.9% of people are living a deliberate illusion. They don't want to see. The leaders you speak of, Trina, is I know of one, I know of maybe two that are actual living demigods. And society, people today are not trained. They're trained not to believe in that. And so what's happening, we have individuals, they're not human, they're not quite God. They're in between and they're powerful.
they're
I
both.
mean, listen, this thing, the leader of the United States today, I mean, I tell you how it is. I read this commentary and it's so true. If you were to follow the successes of Trump to date, it'd be the equivalency of you walking into the casino and never losing on the craps, never on the dice. The dice are always going to roll to exactly what you want. That ain't quite normal.
Hmm.
And what and the
Almost
thought
structures.
and but the gods are here. They're actually here. I mean, but we don't see them as gods, and they'll therefore you'll think you're seeing Donald Trump, but what I see is that I see a spiritual nature of an individual that again is not quite God, not quite human. But that's just my take.
I think there's many of them existing, and I think that's what gives them the title of the ability to rule. That's where
Yeah, I mean, look at
they
Putin.
have the
Putin's a
divine
demigod.
right. Yeah, the divine right to rule comes from. That's why these bloodlines, have been
And
so
they've been here
coveted.
before.
Yeah.
These
Oh,
exact leaders
yeah.
have
For
been
sure.
here thousands of years ago. They caused the same wars, they caused the same destruction, and that's why I know that we're in at the end moment of this current cycle because they're here.
Yeah.
They're here for a purpose. And I think it's going to be too late for most of humanity when we figure out exactly what their purpose is. Just
Their
saying.
purpose is ultimate control, it appears. I mean, just
Here's, yeah.
speculating. And they understand how unruly we can be, and with wisdom and knowledge, becoming more and more powerful. Yeah, that's not a good thing for them to deal with. So,
I would
we're
say
gonna
Nina Trump has gone bankrupt several times,
oh
but
yeah,
here's the
yeah,
difference between he in high finance, bankruptcy is a currency.
yeah.
I
He did
mean,
every
it's not
time
a
something went
negative.
wrong, he used it for
It's
his
not, yeah,
benefit.
it's not a factor of bad management. No, 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 no. You use bankruptcy as a leverage.
Yep.
I can buy a shell corporation that will allow me to take that shell corporation and divert certain assets into it. And
Mhm.
then when I'm ready to make a move, I can declare that those assets become worthless, bankrupt, put a lower value on them. I can resell those assets. And down the road, those assets are now going to become very profitable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
Just yeah, that's the
much
the
love
the
to you,
art,
Hunter.
the art of the deal. He's really good at that,
People
He
should
is
read
a
that book.
businessman. Yeah,
When
he's a
I
businessman. He's
when I
very
was a
wise with
CEO
it.
and going up the corporate ladder, all of my account executives had to read that book. There was two books I required them to read:
Yeah.
The Art of the Deal, number one,
Mhm.
and How to Dress for Success.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I was a stickler. I mean, if you came in and I saw that you didn't know how to properly launder your shirt, your white shirt, I'd send
Hmm.
you home.
Hmm.
But that's just me. I digress.
Hmm.
But
That's
anyway,
Yeah.
getting back to what we were saying, it's like this dance, and we're hearing, certain aspects of the dance. You have people who come in and they'll do the dance, and it's to me, it's just all too well orchestrated. It really is. What was
Yeah.
the prophecy that Jesus said that when they say that they will have peace in their time, sudden destruction will come upon them?
Hmm. Yep.
And we
Yeah.
have a man in power right now who sees himself as the peacemaker.
I guess not who wants to give him a Nobel Peace
He's
Prize.
being nominated for, yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's what I just
nominated him.
heard. That's what
Yeah,
I heard. I'm like,
yeah.
wow, okay. So you bring the bombs and they give you a peace prize. That's kind of cool.
That
I mean,
inverted
it's just like the thing with Epstein, the list.
it's the
All
inverted
right, so
magic.
many
Yeah, wasn't
people
he
are,
going to share that?
yeah, so many people are so mad about that because, they keep saying, oh, we're going to do this and show this, and they're
It's
not doing
The
fine.
any
thing
of
that
it.
gets me,
And
Pam
Fine.
Bondi is on record. In fact, I watched
I
Jesse Walters
I saw
when
that.
she was on there, and she says, Jesse, I have the list right on my desk. Well,
Yeah.
that means that she was lying,
Yep.
flat at lying. And I'm going, nothing's changed here, folks. Nothing's changed.
What's
Which
the document, Trina and Wayne? I know you have the Constitution, and there's another document that a lot of you know off by heart that is sort of like a pledge to the country.
The Bill of
Um,
Rights.
the Bill of Rights. have a look on your website, your government website, see which ones you can find and which ones you can't. Because a lot of those things aren't available anymore on your government's website. And there's a warning for searching on it to some extent. So this is what I spoke of a long time ago, and it's very dangerous, and it's in this country too. That structures that people have thought they can rely on forever are gone. They're already gone.
I
They've
think
already.
it's part of
Interesting.
this
Someone
transition. I think we're
night
what this
vision.
has to be.
I have to talk. I'll talk to you. I know Peter Thiel. Had lunch
He's
with him several times. I mean, he was actually looking to invest in my company. So, but Peter's not alone. So anyway, lots of different ideas out there, different opinions. So I love this group, because we all come from diverse backgrounds and different points of view. But the fact is that we can still come together and go, yeah, I may not know that point of view, but yeah, all right, yeah, and we walk away going, you know what? In the end, they've got their thing, we got ours. And I like our thing much better. I really do. I'd
Hmm.
rather see a moment where I can see a deer, an animal, and nursing three baby fawns.
Hmm.
Amazing.
That's
So
priceless.
different. So different.
Priceless.
And it gets me that I don't see how they can put such worth in worthless things, to want to oppress another, to want to even lead another, to want to profit, fake systemic money, to want to continue that game rather than just experimenting to see what it's like just to gaze at a mother who has just given birth to her precious babies with their white tails bopping up and down, like it's
And their
crazy.
spots, their little spots, they're as
So
cute.
crazy. There's no worth placed on that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I'm clearing out poison oak because we got oak trees, and guess what grows? Poison oak. And this thought hits me as I'm whacking this shit, going, all right, and I'm cursing it, and it's telling me that it has a right to be here. But then it had this strange thing. Why would a God want to be God?
exactly.
Exactly. That's my point. I mean, I stopped right in the middle and I'm sweating it, and I just stopped in a minute and I went, and Jenny, I carried that thought with me for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. I'll do dishes and I'm asking myself, why would a God want to be God?
Yeah, what kind of intent is that from?
I
What
mean,
kind of,
us humans, we get so wrapped around the axle about God,
yeah,
and that the thing that we're experiencing now, where everything is upside down, is it God or is it not God? Is
Hmm.
it the devil or is it not the devil? And I'm thinking to myself, NXS had it right. We're all the devil inside. We're all Jesus Christ on the inside. We're all Buddha. It
yeah.
just depends on which one you want to be.
Yep, you choose.
Yeah,
Straight
You
up.
do, you
Yep.
choose, you
yeah.
choose. But
Yep.
when I think when people are invested in something that is completely outside of themselves, but so ancient, but feels so new. It's when it's on a rolling cycle, it's these gods that come in. I mean, these gods, these demigods that keep popping up within history and in the present, they keep popping up, like Trina says, within the same bloodlines, within the same connections. And it is all about us putting them there and us worshipping them. So, what are we worshipping outside of ourselves? What are we championing outside of ourselves, and why? Is it working? Is it helping? It doesn't look like it.
What if it was just simply part of what Pisces age does? What
The
if it's
illusion.
just, yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're moving into the Aquarian age, which is no more I believe, now it's I know. So somehow through this next shift, we're going to be aware of more of what we are. We're going to know more of what's happening in our world because it's no more I believe, now it's I know. This means you're going to have this powerful, potent awareness. What would do that? a transition of this magnitude, because what I've saw, 40 years ago when I was a child was that the earth would split into two, and that there would be two different creation points coming from this big experiment. And one would be a more organic, nature loving uh, experience, and the other one would stay in third dimensional, more technology. And that this was the plan. And I didn't know what this was when I was a little kid. I didn't have any idea what this was. But I will tell you, we are the beginning of that shift because we have awareness that we're more than just the body. We have
Yeah.
awareness that we're more than just the earth. So it is expanding. And what would change a thought in a construct so extreme? It would have to be the coding of the construct itself. So
Yes.
we're coding new code, new light. So the light that I see, a lot of it that's coming in, got to figure seventh ray, violet fire, transmutation, Saint Germain, which is primarily about alchemy and mastery of the self. Knowing what you are, knowing how magical you are, knowing you're telepathic, you have all these abilities that need to come back online, but only if that's what you choose to work on what you have already, or if you decide to go down a different path with the technology. Both of those are going to be allowed and honored, and it should be. But the thing is that we are going through a transition, and I do think that transition eventually, when they snap apart, because right now it's coexisting, and I don't know how long it will do that, but it's going to for a while. And then when it separates, they said you won't even know when it happened. Like, we won't even know. So it's like not like there's going to be some big event that tells you, "Oh, we've just entered a new higher vibration and now things are going to get a lot better." No, it's not going to be like that. You won't even know what happened. So building these
Heather,
grids, points of focus of positivity and earth and loving nature, you guys are doing the work that you want to get you to where you want to go. Because I saw the difference between the two of them, and you can go wherever you choose.
Heather says, if you're going to ask why God would choose to be God, then you might also ask why a human would choose to be human. Well, Heather, I have asked that question, but here
Mhm.
is the dilemma on that. There are no humans. When we broke the human genome, when we figured out the code, one of the greatest surprises we found out is that there are no humans here. Each of us are a hybrid. We're a
Mhm.
hybrid of many other species. So it would be determined then what is human.
Correct.
I mean, could human be God as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Because when you go to meet God, you're probably expecting God to be more human than not.
Not me, but most.
Well, yeah, I'm just using just in a general analogy.
Yeah,
But I love the
not me, but
question,
most.
Heather. It is. That's why we ask these questions here. And we do. We ask each other
Yeah,
these questions all the time. I mean,
yeah, we
define the
do.
soul. I mean, that's one of those things. You know, my wife works in the death industry. And, it over the weekend, I think there was 5 souls that departed and it's a constant thing and it's one of those things. So what's departing from that physical body? Is it the soul or is it the spirit?
What if
Now,
it's both?
you see, and that's the thing. I think the soul is contained within the spirit.
I think the soul is like what you emanate for what your consciousness is. So your soul, a lot of people see souls leaving bodies like in their identical,
Yeah, yeah.
they're a match. And then you see other souls that are just light and they just bolt.
That's why
So,
you have in nursing homes they have a cat. Many
yeah,
nursing homes have a cat because the cat will alert the staff when a soul or a spirit is about to depart.
I've seen that. I've
Yeah,
seen that. And
it's real. It's not hyperbole. It actually happens, and it is that thing. And Lynn and I were talking because I love my wife. The fact that she deals in this thing and she's right there hands on. I mean, this is no fun and game. This is it, folks. And it's been one of those things when I say to her, like, so two different types of people: those who go peacefully and those who fight.
Yeah.
And they actually have drugs that for those, it's called, the technical term is that they're resisting transition. And so they
Mm.
give them calming drugs that will allow them to the point where their physical bodies can't begin to respond to what the spirit is wanting to do, and that is depart the body.
Yep.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you,
And I
uh,
wonder if that's a battle between spirit and soul, because
Yeah.
the soul creates the body part of you. So I think it's very connected to that. That's how you get your body suit, your space suit to go travel different planets and dimensions, is the vehicle that you create through the connection of that planetary body to soul. That's why I think there has to be a link, and you have access to the different stargates of the systems through your genetic code. I think that's why they've been looking so much for DNA, because they
Yeah.
know certain DNA has access to different parts of the cosmos through their lineage.
It's
So,
interesting. Yeah. Paul Joe said him and his wife were just talking about that this morning, how in care homes, they have cats. Yeah.
yeah,
It's interesting because it's not dogs. I mean, although I guess dogs could have that, but I do know
they
that
do.
cats, they see it. They see whatever that spirit is. It's we call it death. I think it's been so Lynn and I on Sunday morning, we're having our hot beverage in the morning, and we're talking, and I said, oh, I guess it's been like 9 years ago. I had someone from India send me a video of an elderly gentleman that was in a village, and he was going to each different group of people, shaking their hand and hugging them, and then it showed him going into his hut, and 5 minutes later, he was dead.
Hmm.
But he knew he was dying.
Mhm.
And I contend that the one thing that the elite have kept from us is that we don't know how to die. There is a process by which we should be following in that pursuit of when that moment, when you're fully satisfied with life, then go. I mean, but we don't know how to die. We're so We're so indoctrinated today by materialism. Jenny, you were talking about the body and the soul being attached, Katrina. And so the conversation goes full circle. And that's because we don't know how to let go.
work, breath work is the way to practice the most for a practical death, a good death. Not that there's a bad one, but a good death. There's an uncomfortable one. And it would be, when people are dying, often they'll start chain stalking, and it's the breathing where they don't take a full breath in. It's
Yeah.
they're just taking in breath, not letting much out, and that breath is only hitting the back of the throat, right at the top. Well, that's something we do in breath work to make you leave your body anyway. I'll have somebody do that and give
I
them
call
a
that the
10.
death rattle.
Yeah, the death rattle. So if you can
Hmm.
do that in your living space and get comfy with it, I love it. It gives me pain relief. It lets my spirit come apart from the body. It allows me to anchor in the body and the spirit and speak to the soul. So I'm already practicing that because it's something that is good anyway, but I know that it helps with the death process, because if your body has muscle memory, even to just go into that space without panicking, you've already got a good death, because you're not fighting it. You're giving your spirit a hand, of a lift to
Yeah,
to
there's some
release
that
the body.
Lynn tells me there's some people that go. I mean, they call, typically it's called the last good day. And many people have, and if they're being suffering from particular divided piece, a disease or whatever, um, it's interesting because it happens all the time that
Mm.
they will have a perfect day. They
My
feel
aunt
great.
did that the day before she passed. She gave
Yes.
her kids
Yeah.
and her family a perfect day. She was completely lucid, cognitive, her old self, her personality, her funny, her humor. They said then they were getting ready to go pick her up in the morning and she died that night and they were supposed to go get her out of the hospital. It was amazing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I mean, that's the way to embrace it, you know. And
Yeah.
because if we're in this, and the prophets of doom, the thing about it is, and 50 years in Christianity in the ministry, you get this stuff wired in your head. So, but the whole thing about it, every prophecy, regardless of its religion, about this change, that change still represents the death of a lot of people.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
What if
And
that's the only way logically in the simulations that we could make sense of the people going to different locations is through cataclysm.
hey, yeah, it may be. And another thought I've had. So they say we're reaching 8.5+ billion people, right? So the
Mhm.
question I was asking the other day myself was that, so what is it in these moments of cataclysm, right? Whether you want to believe in Noah's flood or these other catastrophes where large groups of people, us, have perished. And I so what is it? And this is the question I was asking myself. Is there something spiritually significant here where the earth is containing more living souls than at any other particular time in history? I mean, if you believe the numbers, again, I don't know who's got the clicker going. Well, all right, there's 1 billion, I don't know.
How
But
much of that data is even true?
yeah, but let's just say that's the case. So how do you ladies see, is it something? So here's what I concluded with, that it's our ticket to get out,
I think so too.
that we're going to be here at this moment, at this time, that in this grand possession of the cycle of time, we're here.
Yep.
Maybe this is where we get the ticket. And as Trina, you said earlier a second ago, maybe we can make that choice.
I
Maybe we
believe
can
so.
actually say, hey, I'm out of here, had a great time, but I'm heading to the next Woodstock. Thank you. I don't know.
And I really do think that the only way you can be secured in that is to absolutely have no fear of losing what you are. So
Well,
you
that's
got to,
why being homeless is a great lesson in life. When you lose
yeah.
all your physical possessions, you find out something. They're just physical possessions.
Same
Yeah.
with your body. The
Huh?
same with all of it. It's all just a figment of creation. And
See,
none
I
of it
can
has,
hitchhike with a backpack. I can't
yeah,
hitchhike with a house on me.
correct.
It's a,
And
it's
you
a, it's a metaphor,
and
but
you can't hitchhike across the galaxy even with a backpack. So
ain't that the
with
truth?
that, yeah,
True.
yeah. So yeah, I think
Uh,
Wayne, you're right. This is an exit point for many to get out of the chronic cycles of lower existence if they graduate. And I think that's why when I was a kid, they were talking about this graduation. Well, the graduation is knowing what you are. And that's the greatest hidden mystery is what does it even mean to be whatever human is? What is that? It's
yeah.
powerful.
I don't
And
know what human is. I don't know what that actually means.
I think it's a hue of a man, and the hue represents the different colors of man through the different rays of
So then does
creation.
that mean my spirit has a color?
No, that's the one beautiful thing. You only capture those things through
See,
souls,
so
is what
does
I
a
found.
spirit count for anything that says, well, I went through the whole human thing,
Yes.
and here's my badge and here's my diploma. I mean, are there other spirits that don't go through that?
Yes,
Yes.
a lot. Yeah. The transitions and the changes we are reflecting as above, so below, as within, so without. As I see you, you
Yeah.
see me.
Yeah.
And that's not a short saying, that's actually a very deep saying. That's a
Yeah.
spiral. It goes up and down, all the
Yes.
way connecting all of the layers. So yes, it's as diverse as we see here, and the spiritual realm is pretty, the spiritual realm anyway, that's connected to a lot of humans, a lot of human belief systems, is batshit crazy at the minute. The doors are swinging open, people are trying to jump back in, people are trying to jump out. It's pretty crazy because there is not very much direction at the moment in the physical, so that the spiritual that's attached to that is pretty crazy. And then there's other realms that Trina will say are so peaceful, so calm, so connected, so grounded. It's like, oh hey, yeah,
Yeah, when
oh
they
yeah.
showed me that new Earth, and everybody talks about this new Earth. This was over 40 years ago, guys. There was no information about any of this. So
Mhm.
it literally had a song. It was the most amazing thing. And it was like, there was nature was, oh,
Um,
it was
mm,
amazing, amazing. So I think we're gonna many of us are going to go, when you go, if you decide. And I do think once you reach certain levels of consciousness, you start to understand the demons you might meet in the other realms are simply figments of your own power and imagination. They're literally part of you. When you start to understand the power of reflection, that everything that you see outside of you is a reflection from something coming from within you, because you are the projector of what you see. It's coming from you. So the more we start to understand and comprehend that we are spirit with soul and with body, the Trinity, we are a Trinity in operation. That Trinity is so powerful. So it's important for your body, it's important for your soul, it's important for your spirit to be existing in this moment now. But when we do drop our body, when you understand everything belongs to the construct, even your experiences belong to the construct. But through these experiences, it's recorded by source, and it all goes back to source. And eventually it all goes back to source. So it kind of doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong in it. It's just experiencing it for the wisdom of the experience itself.
Well,
yeah.
what I do know is this, is that, you see, for myself, I've come to that place where I'm me. I don't know what it is to be you. I don't want to be
Mhm.
you. I find the fascination of within me to be beyond my even wildest imaginations. It's when so I find myself as merely having the position of both experiencing and experiencer. And that's what gods do.
Yes.
And I'm
And
with a
think
lot
about
of
it.
other gods. I don't understand y'all. I mean, I love many of you as a family in here, but I can tell you personally, I don't want to be on the inside of you because it's you. It's not
Yeah.
me. But I
But
love
And that
you.
and that's beautiful because you give space for people to be them without
Yeah,
Mhm.
encroaching on their own
exactly.
way that they were. And that's when I think we can do a checkpoint with the mental, the spiritual, emotional, and physical field of like, why do I feel if your emotions are raised up about something or someone outside of self, it's a really great way to be able to stay centered, that actually those emotions only belong to you in that situation. They don't
Yep.
even belong to the person you're attaching them to. They wouldn't even fully understand them or be able to accept them because it's a square peg, round hole, it's a different thing. So really doesn't mean that much to you that your emotions get raised over whatever it is, that your cortisol levels rise, that your spirit feels ungrounded, that your body suffers. Those kinds of checkpoints are really important going into Aquarius, because yes, it's a knowing, but it's a tech knowing. So have that checkpoint of where do I want, why am I trying to reflect myself in this person?
You know how
What is it?
they always want us to divide, divide, divide. So
Yeah.
one path is very technology oriented and one is more nature oriented. But the thing is that nature is AI.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
Yeah,
AI.
organic technology. It's biosoft organic technology. Greg Braden right now just wrote a book called, I think it's called Perfect Human. I have it. Yeah, The Pure Human. And it talks about soft technology. And remember, I've always been talking to you guys about the internal technology that we were born with. The
Yeah.
more you start to see how technology is actually developing and moving, it's a perfect mirror of what you are as a human, whatever that means. And it might mean organic, artificial, biological, soft technology, artificial intelligence.
That's
Love
why I
it.
say do this checkpoint with gusto, because it is actually a bit of both as well. The new modems that give the waves off for the internet in your homes are actually already being structured with things that bounce off your body. So they know how many people come into a room, they know how many people are stressed, they know because the waves are reading it supposedly. Now that's just in the new modems. So it is about having true sovereignty over self. And that's by doing what you said, Trina, what you said, Wayne, of I don't want my emotions attached to you. It's okay. I don't want my physical being attached to you. It's okay. I want to see the wonder of you, and you maybe see the wonder of me or don't. It's okay because they are going to be merged because technology is becoming more open, like nature, all knowing. Then we are more
Mhm.
readable, and so be true with your intent with all of your elements because
Because if you don't, you're going to be a
it'll
Dennis the
know.
Menace, and I'll put you in timeout. I had to put someone in
Boomerang
timeout.
kiss.
It's like
Everything
I'm
here
reading it, I'm going, what? It's
Everything
like
here is about balance. So we've got always the
it
good and
is
the bad.
balance.
So yeah,
Exactly.
we're gonna have both of it. But what I keep hearing too, guys, is really pay attention to the signals you're receiving. Make sure
Yes,
they're yours. Because this
yes,
is a battle
absolutely.
over the mind and who you're
Mhm.
linking into for your connection and your communication. This is going to get so tricky that you will have a hard time knowing if it's your own intuition or if this is something from the machines being created right now. It's going to get tricky. So find ways that you can confirm that you're connecting to your true organic stream of consciousness from source and make that stronger and make sure and shield and protect and strengthen that every day. Because I think right now it's going to be important. Our
Absolutely.
antennas are
Indeed.
being hacked.
Truly. Tin hat time.
Well, cool. Love the discussion. It's been a fun time, even though we've had some people who just, it's just how it is sometimes. Scotty voices, I'm scared to talk.
Oh, Scotty boy. Good flow.
You know what
Well,
the
Scotty,
funny
that's
part
only
about?
because you built the chair. That's what I'm using. That's why I put retro, whatever it was, in the timeout section.
Oh,
That's
somebody
funny, though.
somebody
Make
really
me laugh.
time.
So as we close out on this, and I know most people don't, I know you won't, because I've learned a long time ago is that you can't get excited about your own epiphany when you tell others, because many others, it's not their epiphany. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, I think that's great. You had one. Um, but I've been teaching faith for 40 years. I know the subject of faith. I know it. It wasn't until last week when I was healing my body, focusing on that, that this huge epiphany. Um, so we've all heard about living in the now,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
right.
We don't fully grasp that. But what I'm trying to say, so I'm sitting there, and it came to me that I know this verse very well because it says, "Now faith is." And so I found out something. It was really interesting. I'll just share this very quick. In the now doesn't have a future. The now doesn't have a past. The now doesn't have a presence. It's the now.
Yeah.
Now,
It is presence.
the
Yeah.
strongest thing that this I was that when this came to me, and I'll tell you all off the air because I don't want to tell everyone on the air, but when this revelation, this epiphany came to me, I put a certain thing to test.
Yeah,
I'll tell y'all later, but I can tell you this. For
it
the
worked.
last 11 days, it has worked every freaking
I saw
day.
you jump in a timeline. I
Yes,
saw
man.
that. I knew it. I was like, oh, don't like this. We're gonna move this right
No.
over
It's
there.
the
Oh my
now,
God.
baby. It's the
Now.
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 Yeah, and
Are
it's
y'all
both.
fucking getting this? It's the fucking
Yeah.
now. There is no
Now.
fucking future. There's no
Nope.
past. There's no present. It's the now.
And the miracles, Wayne, they happen now. They happen spontaneously.
Exactly. There
It
is
is
so fucking
now.
deep.
Now.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you've had bad fortune, you can change that now.
Yes. You
Now.
can jump timelines to a better
Uh,
potential. You really can, guys. This is what we're
Hey
doing.
Steve, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
What if we
Um,
jump timeline dimensions every time we shift our frequency field in our chakra system?
I think we do
I've been
slightly.
shifting into something. How
Yeah.
about this? I'm walking into the freaking store. Guess what lands on me? A dragonfly.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh my God. I knew you were going to say that. I almost
I'm
said
fucking
dragonfly.
blown away, and because I know exactly uh, I mean, dragonflies don't land on you in the middle of, yeah, but anyway, so.
I love it. I love
All
it.
right, I'll shut up. Hello, Gaia. Much love to you,
That's
darling.
fire,
Good to
Wayne,
see.
right there. That's fire. That's
That's
fire.
it's
I
burning, as
love it.
Bob Seger would say. It's burning deep inside.
It
It's
is
there.
fire. That's fire of soul and spirit doing a dance and confirmation that you're actually affecting your world. That
I
is what
believe
that is.
this is. I'll just share this with this group because I love y'all on this. I believe each of us can change our reality within the greater reality of that reality of mixing with other people.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I was telling somebody about this, I think yesterday, that we are powerful nodes of light upon like a computer chip. And your
Yeah.
node and your ID is your name and your birth date. So that's how you are ID'd into this quantum soup of salad we're living in right now. And I kept seeing that. I was telling Gaia, when we focus our energy on being on the most positive timeline for all humanity and Earth, just easily agree to that. Put me in a place that serves humanity and myself and my soul's evolution to its highest potential, and let's land there. If everybody just focused on that and focused on that outcome, it doesn't look the same for everybody. You would literally move, especially if a lot of us focused on that simultaneously, we would instantly jump.
If yeah,
And
and
you know
I
what?
agree
I
with
love
you.
the
If you
Kundalini
use that
King said
now.
at the same time, lucid living. I love that term, lucid living. What you've just described, Trina, when you just were describing it, Kundalini King put in the chat, lucid living, and that's the now thing too. I love that. I love that saying, lucid living.
All right, folks, we're out of here. We love you. See you next Tuesday. Love you, gals.
Love you,
It's
Wayne.
the now, folks. Use what Trina, if we got together and we saw the now, wow.
Just get on your highest timeline. I think if
There
we
you go.
focus just on that, get on your highest timeline for yourself, your family, humanity, if that's what you want to do. A lot of people want to go on ships. So do you, boo, but get on your highest timeline for your soul's evolution and growth. Yeah.
Do, do you? I love that.